So, you did it. You took the plunge and bought some Bitcoin. First off, congratulations. That's a really exciting first step. But now comes the part that truly matters, the step that actually separates just having some crypto from being your own bank, securing it. And in this explainer, we're going to walk through exactly how you can take full control and do just that. And that brings us to the single most important question you need to ask yourself right now. You see that balance in your account. You see the number on the screen. But is it actually truly yours? You see, there's a world of difference between having a claim to Bitcoin and having real, undeniable ownership. And understanding that difference, well, that's the key to everything. The second you own Bitcoin, you're standing at a fork in the road. You have to make a choice, a really fundamental choice, about how you're going to keep it safe. And that choice comes down to two very, very different paths. Okay, so path number one is the default for most people. You just leave your Bitcoin on the exchange where you bought it. It's easy, right? Think of it just like a normal bank account. You're trusting them to hold your money for you. Path number two is what we call self-custody. This is totally different. This is like holding physical cash in your own wallet. You and only you are in complete control. And that brings us to what is probably the most important mantra in the entire Bitcoin world. You're going to hear this over and over again, and for a very good reason. Not your keys, not your coins. It means if you don't control the private keys, think of them as the secret password to your Bitcoin, then you don't really own the coins. You just have an IOU from whoever does hold those keys. So, if taking control of your keys is the goal, how do you actually do that? Well, it all boils down to one single incredibly important piece of information. It's called your seed phrase. Okay, a seed phrase, or sometimes it's called a recovery phrase. It sounds kind of technical, but it's not. When you create your own wallet, it will generate a list of 12 or maybe 24 simple everyday words. But don't let that simplicity fool you. These words are the universal master key that can bring your entire wallet back to life, all the funds, everything, on any device, anywhere on Earth. I really want this to sink in. This list of words isn't just a password to get to your Bitcoin. For all practical purposes, it is your Bitcoin. If you have the words, you have the assets. If you lose the words, you lose the assets. And if someone else gets their hands on those words, they get your assets. It's the one and only master key. All right, so we've established the seed phrase is the master key. The obvious next question is, where do you generate and store this key? This is where your wallet choice comes in. You have to choose the right digital fortress to protect it. Let's break down the three main choices. First, you've got the exchange. Convenience? Super high. But look at security and asset control. They're low because you're trusting someone else. Then you have a software wallet. That's an app on your phone or computer. Here, you get full asset control, which is great. But security is only so-so because it's always connected to the internet. And finally, you have the hardware wallet. This gives you the highest possible security and full control with just a little less convenience. You know, the easiest way to think about this is with a few simple analogies. Leaving your money on an exchange is like using a bank. A software wallet on your phone, that's like the cash wallet in your pocket, perfect for small, everyday amounts. And a hardware wallet, that's your personal vault. That's Fort Knox in your house for your long-term savings. Look, being your own bank is one of the most empowering things you can do, but that freedom, it comes with some serious responsibility. It's actually really easy for beginners to make simple mistakes that can be catastrophic. So let's go over the 5 deadly sins of self-custody that you absolutely have to avoid. Just 5. That's it. If you can just get these 5 things into your head and avoid these common traps, I promise you, you will be ahead of 90% of other people starting this journey. All right, mistake number 1, and this one is so tempting. It's saving your seed phrase on a device that's connected to the internet. You know, a note on your phone, a document on your laptop, maybe emailing it to yourself. It seems so easy and convenient. But here is the problem. Anything online is a target. Your computer can get malware that scans your files, hackers can get into your accounts, your master key could be stolen in an instant, and you might not even know it happened. The only truly safe way is to keep it completely offline in the physical world. The next mistake is even more dangerous because it feels so innocent. We've all had the thought, I'll just snap a quick picture of the words as a backup. Please, whatever you do not do this. It is a massive mistake. So why is that so bad? Well, think about what your phone does. It automatically uploads your photos to the cloud, right? To Google Photos, to iCloud, you name it. And all of a sudden,
Your master key is sitting on some company's server, just waiting to be exposed in the next big data breach. So the rule is simple. Never, ever take a digital picture of your seed phrase.
Mistake number 3 brings us right back to where we started. Using an exchange to buy and sell, that's what it's for. But using it as your personal savings account for the long haul, that is a huge gamble. I mean, history is littered with failed exchanges, from MTGOX all the way to FTX, where people lost everything.
Now this one is a bit more subtle, but it is just as deadly. So you've carefully written down your 24 words, you've locked them away safely, great. But are you 100% positive you wrote them down correctly? Is there a typo? Did you get the order wrong? You see, an untested backup isn't really a backup at all. You have to test it to know for sure.
And finally, the 5th big mistake, putting all your trust in one single backup, in one single location. So you write your seed phrase on a piece of paper and you hide it in a drawer. What happens if there's a fire, a flood, a break-in? Your entire digital life savings could be gone because of one single physical event.
Okay, I know that was a lot of don'ts, but it's so important to know the risks. Now let's flip it around and talk about the do's. Let's talk about the right way to build a real fortress around your master key.
The journey starts simple, a paper backup, written down clearly, stored somewhere safe. From there, you can level up to a metal backup, stamping your words into steel so it can survive fire and water. For even more security, you can split your phrase into different pieces and store them in different locations. And then you have the really advanced stuff, but that's a whole other topic for another day.
And when you take these steps, you're doing something much bigger than just protecting information. You are fundamentally changing your relationship with money. You are literally building your own bank, where you get to make the rules. This is the ultimate point, right here. Bitcoin offers this incredible promise of total financial freedom, a world where no one can freeze your account or take your assets. But that freedom isn't free. It comes with the responsibility of securing it yourself.
By understanding these concepts, you're not just protecting your coins, you are learning the skills to manage that responsibility. You're learning how to operate your own bank, where you set the rules, you control the vault, and you alone hold the key. The only question left is, are you ready?